Hi guys, Kim here with Art Classes for Kids and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you a watercolor painting project inspired by the American artist Jennifer Bartlett. And before I get into too many details about that, I want to tell you what the supplies are going to be so that you can gather up your supplies, make sure you have everything you need to get started. So what we're going to need today for this project right here is a watercolor tray, some sort of watercolors. They don't have to have this many, but you need to have at least, 8 colors. So you might have a simple tray. You're going to need a water jar and a narrow paintbrush. If it has nylon bristles, that's probably the best, or it could be sable watercolor, type of a brush that came with your kit. You also need some paper towels to blot with and wipe out your colors with. You'll need a pencil. You're gonna need a ruler. You're going to need watercolor paper. And if you don't have watercolor paper, then see if you have any kind of thick poster board or something like that. This is an option, but this blue painter's tape I use a lot to mask off the edges so that it gets this little clean white edge around it. But if you don't have it, you just paint up to the edges. Or you can use regular tan masking tape as well. It's just a little stickier and a little tougher to get off. This comes off really easy. So the last thing we're going to need will be a crayon. Now this artist, Jennifer Bartlett, she does a lot of these grids on all her paintings, but they're usually white. But when I show you white through the camera, it's gonna be really hard to see where I drew the white. So I'm gonna be using yellow like this today instead. You can use any color crayon you want, and you can even attempt white, but it's the toughest one to use because you're drawing white on white. But if you get a color crayon, it's gonna help resist. If you don't have any crayons, oil pastels are great too. But most people have a bit of Crayola or whatever brand crayons at their home. So gather those things up and get ready to do this art project. In our art project, we, every project we do is usually using different materials, and we also teach you about different artists or different techniques. We were doing 5 new videos every week when everybody started doing homeschooling or distance schooling, whatever they're calling it now. Once that started, which was actually 6 weeks ago, so we've been doing 5 weeks of videos, and this is our 6th week. And so last week we had to take it down to 3 lessons a week instead of 5 because we're working on a really special project for the summer, which I'm going to tell you more about in a few weeks. But while that's going on, I can only make 3 of these videos a week. So today we've got one on Wednesday, and we've got one on Friday, and I hope you'll join us for all of those. And I want to thank you so much for sending in your photos of your finished artwork. I love getting those, and when I get those, I always reply, and I love to see how they turn out. Some people are sending theirs with their siblings, doing them with them. Some people are doing them with their parents. Some people are doing them with their grandparents, and the grandparents are doing them too and showing us their artwork, and we just love seeing those. If you haven't ever sent us a photo but you'd like to, you can either take a snapshot and post it on Instagram and tag it with @ArtClassesForKids, or you can directly email it to me at my email address, which is kim@artclassesforkids.com. So those are ways to get your photos to us because we love to see your progress. Also, we've been doing this, and if you don't know anything about my business art classes for kids, I've been doing this for decades. And what I do is I teach kids art in my group art classes. I also do private lessons, and I also put on art camps. So when we do this, kids come into my art studio, or we go out into different neighborhoods in the community, and we teach these lessons. And kids actually pay for these lessons, but we're bringing them to you for free while everybody's at home. So if you want to support these videos staying free, and also we are going to try to keep them going as long as we can. And we have a little app that has a link in our description. It's called Ko-fi, and that is like a tipping app. So if you want to support us that way, go right ahead. Also, if you ever need any supplies, you can check out our website, which is artclassesforkids.com. And on our website, we have a list of supplies. And the supplies we list are only the basics that we use in most of the online lessons we do, like the watercolors, the watercolor paper, and the tape, and anything special we use is all on that website. And if you buy anything from that, we are an Amazon affiliate and we're linked to Amazon. So when you buy it, you're actually buying it from Amazon, and it'll get delivered to you as quick as Amazon delivers. So check out our website first for supplies before you go anywhere else. And so maybe now you've gotten all your supplies and you're ready to start this amazing watercolor landscape. So this is an abstract landscape, and this artist, Jennifer Bartlett, she does a lot of houses. So here are some examples of her houses. She often uses the idea of a grid to organize her compositions, which is the organization of the elements within the picture plane. So what she does here is she's got a house, one single house with a different color roof than the bottom, and she's got a grid with another grid on top of it. This one here doesn't have like a line grid that looks like you're looking through a window or something. This one is just made up of diagonal and vertical and horizontal lines, all creating this, which is completely made up of lines. That's one of her paintings. This one has the big grid, the white grid, but it's splattered and you can see really blurry the house, the red house with the dark roof hiding in there. Then sometimes she'll paint individual small works of art and she'll hang those on a wall on a grid, just like that. You can still see the house hiding in it. And then sometimes she uses dots, and this one has the grid behind it repeated in primary colors with dots in the center. And then this is another painting she has where it's like a triptych. It's like 3 different houses in one painting at different perspectives, and she really liked showing the same thing over and over in different ways or different perspectives. So the one that we'll be doing here is a diptych. It's like 2 things that show the same thing but in different perspectives. So once you take a look at this, you see that we've got the grid, we've got some sort of pattern filling in the shapes that create these house shapes, and then the skies are different, the patterns on the houses are different, and we're gonna create one of our own. So the first thing we're gonna do is, if you do happen to have some tape, we're going to tape the edge of our watercolor paper, and this is actually not that hard to do. What you do is you pull out some tape, you line it with the edge of your white paper. Whoops, somehow I have a piece of hair in there. Okay, and then you whip it to rip it. You don't want to wrap it around because it makes it really hard to get off, or sometimes it kind of can rip the paper when you're trying to pull it off at the end. I have mine mounted to a board because I'm going to lift it up while I'm painting it to show you guys different techniques. So we've got this and we're about ready to go. So I want you to grab your crayon, whatever color you chose. I'm going to use the yellow because it's bright enough for you to see, but it's still light. So I'm going to go and hold my paper up vertically. Between the left top corner and the right top corner, I'm going to guesstimate, that means estimate and guess, where the center of the top is. So make a mark right there. Then I want you to guess where the center is between the bottom left corner and the bottom right corner. I'm gonna go like, maybe it's right about there. So once I get that, I'm gonna take my ruler and I'm gonna lay it down on top of here, and I'm going to press down the pressure of the ruler while I rub my crayon up and down on the side. I want to get it really thick if I can. So there's my first line. And it's better to use the fat flat end so you get an even line. So now that you've gotten that line, or if I'm going too fast for you, don't forget you can pause this video at any time and then catch back up with us, okay? You go your pace. Some kids are more advanced than some others. Some are older, some are younger. Some are, parents doing it, and they might be zooming through this. So, pause it and don't worry about it. Pause it, and when you're ready, push play. Okay, so now halfway between the top corner and the middle, I'm gonna make a mark. And halfway between the middle and the other corner, the top right corner, I'm gonna make a mark. Now I'm gonna do the same thing to the bottom. Halfway between the bottom and the middle, I'm making a mark. Halfway between the middle and the bottom right corner, I'm making a mark. Now I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna take this ruler, I'm gonna put it down on my paper, and I'm gonna line it up, and I'm going to rub back and forth. Go all the way to the edge of your paper or the tape mark. Then I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna do the same thing. Pull this up a little more. Okay, so now I've got 3 lines, pretty close to evenly spaced. They don't have to be perfect. Remember, we're guesstimating, okay? But now comes the next part. I want you to put 1 line right perfectly in the middle of each space. So between the edge and the first line, I make a mark. Between the first and the second thick line, I make another mark. So I'm putting marks in between these lines, right evenly halfway between spaced. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, or 4 little marks I made. Now I'm gonna go to the bottom and make that mark. That's 1, that's 2, third one, and fourth one. So what do you guys think I'm doing next? I'm sure you figured it out. Now I'm going to make a line go from the top to bottom, connecting these 2 marks. Gonna connect those, and I'm gonna connect those. So, take my ruler again. I'm putting some pressure on my ruler so it doesn't slide across while I do this. Then I hold my crayon straight up and down, just like this. And I do it like 3 or 4 times. So, because I want it really thick and opaque. The reason we're using a crayon is because watercolors and crayons don't mix so good. So since they don't, the paint won't stick so much to this crayon, and we don't want it to. Okay, so now I'm on this one. And my last one. And now you have all these lines like this. So go ahead and get yours all done, and when you're ready, if you need to push pause right now, go right ahead. Because after this, we're doing the horizontal lines. While I'm waiting for you, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tear some of my crayon paper off. Okay, I just feel like that just flung into my face. Okay. So now we're gonna start at the top once we get all our vertical lines down, and we're gonna put the ruler up to the very top where the tape is or where the edge of the paper is, and we're gonna take our ruler, and we're not even gonna pre-make marks on this because it doesn't matter as much up and down, or the horizontal lines don't matter if they're lined up perfect as the vertical ones do. So once I've done the first line, I'm just gonna line the top edge of my ruler up with that first line, and then below the ruler, I'm gonna make another mark. And I'm gonna keep doing that over and over. So I go from here to here. Then I go down some more, and I keep doing this. You wanna go all the way to the tape. That one was a little thin. Okay, so you keep going and keep going. Okay, I'm going down, making my way down. Hopefully you're finding this not too hard. But I gotta tell you something, this is the hardest part of the whole painting. So now I'm gonna this is the drawing part of our painting. Okay, and when I'm done, it looks like this. And that is all you're going to need your crayon for. So if you've gotten to this point, then you're ready for your pencil. If not, go ahead and pause again and then catch back up when you're ready. So if you're ready, grab that pencil and you're gonna go to the middle line again. The middle line was 1, 2, 3, the fourth line across the top, right here. Once I find this middle line, I'm going to go down, I'm gonna go down 5 squares. So I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to make a mark right here. Hopefully you can see that. So I go down 5 squares down on the middle line and I make a mark. Then I'm gonna go all the way to the left and make a little dot on that same line, and then I'm gonna go all the way to the right and make a dot on that same line. So I've got 3 dots. I've got 1 in the middle, 5 blocks down, and I've got 1 on the far left on the same row, and I've got 1 on the far right on the same row. Okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rooftops. So now I'm going to go diagonal from here. I'm gonna diagonal, which means on an angle, like up a hill. I'm gonna diagonal through 1, 2 squares and stop. And I'm gonna go to this one, I'm gonna diagonal through 1, 2 squares and stop. I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. I'm gonna diagonal through 1, through 2, stop. Then over here, 1, 2, and stop. So those are my 2 rooftops. And this is my left house, and this is my right house. This is my left sky, and this is my right sky. So this middle line here, I don't want to draw a pencil mark on it that I can't get off later. But this is your halfway. This is where your painting kind of splits in 2. That's where the repeat of the buildings are. But we're gonna show them in different perspectives, like Jennifer Bartlett likes to do. We've already got the grid that she does, her like signature grid. Now we're going to add the rest. So now, when you're ready, let's get painting, okay? So I'm done with the pencil, I'm done with the crayons, I'm done with the ruler. All I need now is my paint, my paintbrush, my water jar, and paper towels. So we're gonna start on the far right, and we're gonna do a building. We're gonna need a pattern and a color scheme. So the first thing we're gonna do for a pattern is pick, are we gonna do stripes? Are we gonna do diagonals? Are they gonna be dashes? Are they gonna be waving lines? What are they gonna be? So let's start with the easiest one, which is the stripes. So you can pick a warm color scheme, or you can pick a cold color scheme. Cold is more like blues and greens and violets. Warm, which is like sky, water, grass. If you want to do warm colors, what things can you think of that are warm, that are those types of colors? Maybe the sun, maybe flames, maybe hot sauce. I don't know, warm stuff, okay? So I'm gonna do warm on my right side. You don't have to do warm on your right. You could do cool, but you just decide which one you're gonna do. I'm gonna show you the easiest way to make this painting. So I'm gonna start with a light color. I'm gonna start with yellow, but I already have yellow lines. So I'm only gonna put a few diagonals. Whoops, I went out of balance here. So I can just wipe that off, blot it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm gonna add a few warm color lines. I'm gonna add 1 to each row. But now I wanna have other colors, because I've got plenty of yellow in this painting. So I'm gonna do orange. So I'm gonna pick some orange lines to put in it. And if I wanna get a skinny line, even though I have a skinny brush, I barely touch the bristles onto the brush. It's kind of like I'm petting the paper. And I keep the end of my wooden handle straight up. I wouldn't lean it like this. And I never smash my brush into the paper, because then I'm gonna get a wider line. So if I just barely touch the paper like that, I'm going to get a skinny line. Now I'm gonna pick a new color. I'm gonna pick bright pink. This is a popular color. It's probably my most emptiest color in my tray. Oh, that didn't look that pink. Let me blot it out. If you have a color that's kind of dirty, Just kind of press your watercolor or your paper towel into it. Okay, now I'm gonna get some true pink. There I go, so I'm getting some pink and I'm making more stripes. And notice I just pull my whole arm when I make that line. I don't want to have a broken line. I don't want to do that because then it looks like dashes. I mean, if you want dashes, do that. But if you want a straight line, just keep pulling it until you run out of paint. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna add one more color. Maybe I'm gonna add a darker red so I can have some other colors in that I haven't had yet. I wanna fill in all my space so I don't have any white showing, if possible. Okay, let's see. So I'm going back over some of my white spaces to add more lines in there. Okay, so now I have my house pretty much covered. Once you get almost all the space in there covered, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna remove any paint that went on top of your crayon marks. So how I do that is I take some water and I go across one of the lines, and then I take a paper towel and I rub to blot it off. Then I go to the next row like this. And I really rub up, and then I go like that and it kind of rubs off. So I keep doing that, but I don't want to wait so long. I don't want to wait the next day and do that because then it wants to stay once it's been on there a long time. So just keep taking that and rubbing it off. Okay. So now I've got it like that, and most of my vertical lines, my up and down yellow lines, they didn't get too much paint on them. But I'll just check anyways. Okay. I can even open up my whole paper towel like this. And then just rub it. So now I'm ready to do my other house. So my other house right here, I have wavy lines. I have another example here where I've got dashed lines. So you decide what pattern you like. I'm going to go, well, first of all, we're doing cool colors on the other house so that they can be different. So the cool colors are, like I said, blue, green, lavender. So I don't know, what should I do? Should I do wavy lines or dashy lines? I think I'll do wavy lines again. So if I'm gonna use greens and blues, I'm gonna start with my lightest of all those colors and pick like, kind of like a lime green. And I'm gonna make a wave on a diagonal. You could do waves up and down, but I'm gonna make some waves. I stop on my pencil mark because I don't wanna go out of that area so that it keeps the shape of the house with a pointed roof. So now I'm gonna do some more of these. Okay, so I started out with some light green lines. Now I'm gonna try another shade of green. Now I'm gonna put this in here. Oops, this is a little wetter, I mean a little darker. Now if I can't fit a whole line in here, I just do part of a line. Okay, and then I just keep going. Keep those wavy lines moving on. Wavy, wavy, wavy. Okay, and just keep whatever pattern you chose to do going until you fill in the left house. Okie dokie. So now I've got 2 shades of green. Now I'm going to add some light blue. Yeah, mix it up. Add some blues. Blues are cool colors. And I just keep my pattern going. Now remember, if I'm going too fast and you're not going the same exact pace, you can pause the video at any time. And then push play when you're ready to join me again. Okay, now I have it pretty filled, but I want to add some lavender. So I'm just going to add it in some spaces, not the whole thing. Okay, I'm just going to add it into some of my white spaces. Wow, so I added into all those. Okay, I think that's all I'm gonna do because I feel like I filled it up a lot. So now I'm going to do my vertical lines where I remove the color. So I brush water over the crayon and then I blot it, lifting it up. So now I'm gonna brush water over this middle crayon mark right here. Then I'm gonna blot it and it appears a little better. That one I didn't get so good. Let me just rub a few of these spots a little harder. Okay, next I'm doing another one. Okay, I've got those. Now I'm gonna do all the horizontal crayons on the grid. Got a few more to go. Now, sometimes you have to do it twice if you had really dark colors over the crayon. Or if you pressed it really hard. Okay, I've got a few more. And my last one. Alrighty, so now you can see my grid again, and if I have any really dark spots, I'll try to lighten them up a little more. And there I am. So next, we've done the 2 houses. Now what we have are the rooftops. So I'm going to start on the right, and I like the circle pattern because I kind of feel like it's like snow or something falling or wind swirling. So I'm going to do above my warm color scheme, I'm gonna do cold, and above my cold, I'm gonna do warm. So they really show up and they have contrast and don't blend in. So to start with, to make a skinny line, remember you gotta use the tippy tip of your hairs of your brush. I'm gonna start with this lavender color, and I'm gonna put little circles in little places. Whoops, no, I didn't close up all the way. All these. Now remember, don't go past your center line. I might have some half circles, like. Now, if I want, I can put another circle around those. I'm not gonna do another circle around everyone. Now I'm gonna try a new color. I'm gonna try light blue. Get it nice and wet. Okay. Now I'm gonna go around this one and go around that one. Maybe I add a new one there. You can make a little swirl like that if you want. So I've added a few of those. And I don't want too much paint on my brush because then they'll get really fat lines. So now I'm going to add some darker blue. That didn't look that much darker. Let me just try that again. Okay, now, ooh, that looks darker. Some half circles, some that go past a few, like that one and that one. I just don't want to paint on top of my house. Oh my goodness. And then do I want any green? I don't think I want any green. I think I'll use this other purple. This is the dark purple. A few more dark purples. Okay, I think I've got plenty of that in my sky. So now I've got to wipe down the grid marks again. So I'm going to take my brush, wipe here, and make sure there isn't any paint. Or there's very little paint on my yellow crayon marks. Here I got a bunch. Let's see if I can get it off. Pretty good. Let's get some over here. So it's kind of like you're washing it off. Okay, I think I've gotten most of my spaces. Okay, so here we've got that. Now I'm going to put some type of a sky pattern above my left house with the cold colors. So I'm going to do warm colors so that it really shows up. So I'm going to go ahead and do the diagonal dashes. I love those because they look like rain to me. So now I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to start with yellow. And I'm just going to put dashes all in here. Yellow's great because I've got yellow crayon, and if I go on top of it, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, so I've got yellow dashes. Now I'm going to go with some orange dashes. So I'm adding these in. Add a few of those in every one of those squares. There's no square that's going to not get some orange attention. So I've got that. Now I'm going for the pink, the popular pink. See where else I can fit some in these little spots. Okay, so I'll do some more of those. Re-dip in my pink. Pink rain, that's all good. It's just a pattern, but you know, Jennifer Bartlett, she's still making art. She's an American artist. She's about probably in like her 70s. She's been making these paintings like with these patterns for maybe 40 or 50 years now. If you want to learn more about her or any of the artists we ever mention or use as our inspirations, please Google them, look up, learn more about them, see all their art, see their images, because that's one way to learn about artists without having to live in a city that has a museum or something, so that you can, you know, keep learning about art. It's great that we have the internet now. You can learn anything you want at your fingertips. I'm going to go ahead and add some more yellow in some of the white spaces. And then maybe, I haven't done any red. Let me do a little bit of red, not too much. I'll do some really skinny reds. I started out saying not too many, now I'm going crazy with the red. Okay, so, you know, you don't know. Once you get started, you start enjoying making these dashes, and you just kind of go crazy. Okay, so now I have it like that. So I'm going to look and see if I have that much. I don't look like I have very many dashes in my yellow lines, but I might have some in the grid across. So I'm gonna blot that out. It's best to wait till your paint's all dry. But let's go ahead and give that a blot. Right here, oh, that's got a lot in it. Okay, I think I've got it. So if you're still working on yours, keep it going. I think I'm gonna let mine dry for a second, and then I'm going to, let you guys catch up. Then if you have a eraser on your pencil, not on my wet side, but on my drier side, I can go back and try to erase the pencil marks because they don't need to be in the painting anymore. They were great guides, but they don't need to be there anymore. So if you can erase them, great. If you can't, they might not show up very much, so don't even worry about it. This is actually pretty dry already, so I'm gonna try to erase these ones. Okay, I've gotten all those to erase. So I think I'm pretty finished. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull off my tape. So if you did use tape, then you wanna peel it off really slow and away from the painting. So you get these little like spiral tapes out of it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to this side, peel this off away and slow and even. And right here, to unveil our painting. Alrighty, so that's what that blue tape was all about. It really makes it look a little finished, cleans it up, and here's how mine turned out today. Ooh, let's move that really quick so it doesn't get spilt. So here's mine. I can't wait to see how yours turned out. So if you want to show me yours, snap a photo and, tag it with @ArtClassesForKids on our, Instagram. Or if you want to send it to me directly, email it to me at Kim@ArtClassesForKids.com. And let me give you a sneak peek of what the next lesson that I'm going to upload will be. So our next lesson, you're going to be doing a drawing project, and it is going to look a little something like this, except that you're going to make it your own. This is a surreal drawing, and it's using colored pencils and a black Sharpie, and it is inspired by the artist and movie director Tim Burton. And here is a painting of his that is the inspiration for this creation. This is called Surrounded, and you see all these imaginary kind of spaceships slash, space fish. We're gonna be creating that, so I hope you'll join us for that in our next video upload. And I wanna make sure that we can keep bringing you videos, so don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell so you can get a lot more videos. And you'll get the notifications of when each new video comes out, and then you'll know there's something new and exciting to do at home. So thanks for joining us, and keep making cool art.